talk self-image and insecurities. I know that this is a hard topic and a major topic, especially for women. I know men also struggle with it too. It's one that I struggle with constantly. So, for example, how many years has my wonderful husband done grit workshops? 5? Question mark? Every time he does a workshop, or at least in the beginning, because he stopped asking, every time he has asked me to be a part of it in some capacity. It has taken me how long to actually do this? And I have to tell you, I'm really pushing it. I'm pushing myself to make these videos for you. When we first made the videos at the ranch, I thought it went relatively well when we filmed them. But then we went to watch the videos after they were done, and I totally had a major anxiety attack. Legs were shaking. I was gripping my hands tight. I couldn't breathe normally. And then the tears came. And I couldn't talk. And I couldn't answer his questions about what was wrong. He had to stop watching the video because I couldn't take it. I had to walk away. I had to quiet those voices of self-doubt. I had to admit that I was the one who was tearing myself down. It was those inner voices telling me I wasn't good enough. What I had to say wasn't meaningful. I criticized every facial expression, every move I made. I criticized the tone of my voice. Everything about those videos, I criticized. I hate watching myself on video. I hate it. I have no idea how Nate does this all the time. And he does it so seemingly effortlessly. Even though he has told me it's hard for him too. But in watching him, it seems like it's second nature. I found myself comparing myself to him, which is silly. I'm not him. I'm me. I can't possibly be him. But it seems even more silly that I have such a hard time with this because I'm a teacher. I sit in front of students all day, every day. I talk. I present. I act like a goofball in my classroom. I embarrass myself constantly in front of my kids. I do. They all know it. It's part of why they enjoy coming to art, is because I act a fool. So here's the importance of self-reflection. I had to really ask myself some hard questions to figure out why I was reacting the way I was reacting. So here are the questions that I asked. Why am I doing this? The answers were, it's important. It means a lot to my husband. He thinks I have things to say that will help. He thinks my perspective is valuable. And I don't want to disappoint him. Also, I like helping others, even if what I have to say only helps one person. It's worth it. I use that in teaching all the time, so why can't I apply that to this? It's also good for me. It's good for me to push myself out of my comfort zone. It's good for me to grow. So that's why I'm doing it. A, because he asked me, and B, because I need to do it. So then why is it so hard for me? Well, to me, kids are a lot easier than adults. Adults are hard. Doing this requires a lot of self-reflection, hard conversations, talking about my past. I've done that many times. I do it all the time. I talk with Nate, I talk with my friends, I do it all the time. But I've never done it on camera or in such a public setting. If I was having a one-on-one conversation with each of you, I would have no problem at all, sharing my whole life. I tend to live my life as an open book. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I will talk to you about just about anything. But this will be recorded for all to see, for everyone. And in this moment of recording, it is a one-sided conversation. I can't see your faces. I can't read your expressions or your body language. I can't see how you're reacting to what I'm saying. I can't adjust my words to the mood of the room or alter the course of the conversation to each of your individual needs. And that's really hard. I can't gauge for understanding. None of my teacher tools work in this platform. This is also why I struggled really hard with distance learning during this whole COVID pandemic. It's been a struggle. All of my teacher skills are founded on my ability to read my students and adjust to their individual needs. And this feels the same. It's also hard because seeing myself on camera is hard. I still haven't watched the videos I recorded with Nate. It's hard because of those inner voices. And the camera is a huge distraction. All of those inner voices talking to me as I'm trying to speak. I don't like my thoughts to be unorganized, and I pride myself on my ability to clearly communicate. Because I don't like being on camera, I found myself incredibly distracted by all of this. Unable to be confident in my words or my thoughts. So then the next question I had to ask myself was, okay, how do you move forward? What can you do to make this tolerable for yourself? So I have to organize all of my thoughts. I have a massive stack of papers. And so I have to read my thoughts to keep them organized instead of trying to keep it all in my head and have it come out in an unorganized, unclear fashion, which is easy for me to do in my classroom, but I know that subject inside and out. I know art. I know how to read my kids. I know how to do it fluidly. This is not the same. It's too personal. I also had to really convince myself and remind myself to do this my way, not Nate's way. I am myself. I'm not Nate. Which is why I sit here reading to you. And I had to acknowledge my fears. I had to decide that I'm stronger than my fear of being judged. And that's real hard. I'm stronger than the voices. I'm stronger than my self-doubt. I had to decide that I'm not going to let them win. I had to convince myself and reassure myself that what I have to say is meaningful and valuable. Even if it's only valuable to me, it's important for me to push myself and grow as a person. It's important to value my own opinion and my own thoughts, period. I am worth it. So I decided that I have to do this. I have to make these videos for me. And if y'all get something out of it, then that's icing on the cake. So that's a mini example of my self-reflection process, especially when it comes to my insecurities. I have to give myself grace. I have to acknowledge why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I have to give myself time and space. And it's been a week and a half since we did those original videos, and it's taken me this long to make another one. So, I'm constantly asking myself these questions and more. I could have easily said, no, this is not worth it. I can't do this. This is too hard. And honestly, up until now, that's what I've done when Nate has asked me to do videos in the past. But this workshop theme speaks to me in so many ways. Whether or not I really knew it, living wild and running free is a value that I hold very close to my heart. It is part of my self-image that I am a wild and free spirit. And being authentically me in all that I do is what I strive for every day. So, let me try to unpack this even more. This concept of living wild and running free in the context of self-image and insecurities. Having a negative self-image limits how far you can go, how far you can take yourself in this world. It traps you into thinking that you're not worth it, that you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to reach your goals. You are not good enough to get what you want, what your heart desires. You're not good enough for happiness. Giving in to that voice stunts your growth severely. It leaves you filled with regret and blocks you from true happiness and freedom. Letting your insecurities run your life keeps you from so much enjoyment. Can you truly live wild and run free if you continually allow your negative self-image and insecurities to control you? Not really. There are so many examples in my life where I didn't try something new because I let these voices take over. I let self-doubt win. So many chances to experience life in a new way. So many learning opportunities down the drain. For what? Why? Because I was afraid of others' judgment? Because I might embarrass myself? Adults are harsh, so that's a real fear. Because my failures somehow will destroy my self-image or make me look like less of a person to someone else. Or maybe they might figure out that I'm a fraud, that I have no idea what I'm doing. It's a real thing. How much joy have I missed out on because I care so much about what others think? How much joy have I missed out on because I beat myself down and compared myself to others? Now, I do think that there is a place for looking at others for comparison, but not in a way that is so unhealthy. Finding people who you admire and using their example to find your own success and learn from them, that's different. Comparing yourself to others and judging yourself against them in ways that you can't possibly change yourself or work towards, that's not healthy. You're you. You're not them. So even when it comes to looks, I find people who I like their style and try to emulate elements of their look by trying to stay away from negative comparisons of physical attributes that I cannot change about myself. Without plastic surgery, which I'm not willing to do, I can't change my nose. I can't change my ears. I can't change my lips. I'm not about that Botox life. I'm just not. So I can't, there's a lot of this that I can't change. Now I could work out and get some more muscles so my arms aren't skinny and I have a flatter stomach. I could do that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about easy things that you can, not easy things. Things that you can't control. But let's talk insecurities. Physical insecurities. Those things about ourselves that we have little to no control over. Everyone has them, male or female. Those insecurities that keep us from truly seeing how beautiful we are as human beings. So here's something that has really helped me. I tend to translate a lot of things into art terms. I'm an art teacher and I'm an artist. That's what I do. So art is my passion. It's my life outside of my family, of course. So I have begun to see, and kind of honestly always have, but taken it to the next level. I see humans as works of art. We are all masterpieces. Humans are amazing in so many ways, and the human body is spectacular for so many reasons. When I think about works of art, I know that I find many styles to be beautiful, and many works within the same style, not just one work from one style, if that makes sense. And I find there to be so much beauty when looking at a piece of art. I find beauty in the imperfections. The imperfections are often what makes art interesting and captivating. So if I feel that way about a painting or a sculpture, why can't I feel that way about myself? I see the human body in all of its various forms as a living, breathing sculpture, full of imperfections and full of beauty. And those imperfections are what make the human body unique and beautiful. I have to choose to see myself and others as a living, ever-changing, imperfect work of art. And along that train of thought, if you are a piece of art in a gallery or museum, you will constantly have visitors coming to view you. which creates a whole lot of anxiety about being judged. Those art critics, full of their own opinions, and not everyone will appreciate or love the beauty of our work of art. But every artwork, every work of art, speaks to someone. And we need to surround ourselves with the ones that see us for the masterpieces that we are. Find those that love our imperfections and see them as part of the beautiful sculpture that you are, or that we are. And we need to see ourselves as priceless works of art, imperfections and all. I will never truly be able to completely squash my insecurities. They'll always be there in some capacity. Sometimes they will shift and become focused on something new. But I can learn to free myself from their control. My insecurities do not rule my life. At least that's what I strive for, because I have moments where they do. But reflection and moving forward and not being contained in a cage by them. Living wild requires self-confidence. It requires a positive self-image. You can't live wild and run free without a positive self-image. You can't. Living my authentic self, living that wild, free, having that childlike love of life and discovery, that's what I aim for. That's what I strive for. And I cannot let my insecurities and my negative self-image keep me from that. So, here's my challenge to all of you. Reflect. Where do your insecurities come from? Where does your negative self-image come from? Why do they exist? Who or what gave you those insecurities? And ask yourself, why are you still giving them power? How do you take it back? I challenge you to make a list, to stop tearing yourself down and instead start building yourself up. Start by making a list of things you love about yourself, even if you have to start small. List them out. List your successes. List your favorite things about you, your personality or your looks or your body or how you handle situations, whatever it is. List your success. List your love. Stop focusing on your failures and focus on your success. Put your energy in a positive direction. So lastly, I want to leave you with this. This is a story. The fight of two wolves within you. It's an old Cherokee teaching his grandson about life. A fight is going on inside me, he said to the boy. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, the other is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." Which one will you feed? Make a choice. Have a wonderful and amazing day.